In this video today, I'm going to tell you how to rip your hybrid. Let's take a look at this lesson right now. So the hybrid, how do we rip it? And there's some confusion because when we look at the hybrid, it's a bit of a blend between an iron and a fairway wood. It's not quite either or one or the other. So it sits somewhere in the middle, and basically the hybrid came about to replace the 3, the 4, the 5 iron. They were quite hard to hit in the old days. The design wasn't as easy to get up in the air. So the hybrid came to give us something that we could pop up into the air and still get it landing softly on the greens. But because it's in between that fairway wood and that iron sort of build, there's a little bit of confusion about how do we actually hit it. So we're going to look at setup and actually what I want you to try and do throughout the golf swing to make sure that you are starting to rip these little beauties, because if you are, they are such a useful golf club. If I were to play my 7 iron, what I would generally see is that the ball would be somewhere just in between the centre of my body and towards my lead foot. So it's about ½ an inch to an inch in front of my body here. So as I'm doing that, I'm looking to impact the ball and then take a divot. It doesn't have to be the biggest divot in the world, but what I'm looking for is that ball then ground interaction. If I was playing my 3 wood out on the fairway, not off a tee, if I was hitting it off the deck, what I would be looking for would be again ball and then divot, but what I'd be looking for is a really shallow grazing of the turf. And what I would do to do that would be to place my golf ball pretty much near my lead heel. So with the hybrid, it's right in between those things. So what do we want to try and do? Because one of the most common things that I would see from a lot of people is this shot. Topping it down the fairway and getting frustrated because you're trying to lift it up in the air, and that is not what we need to do. Like I say, 2 or 3 times already there, it's in between, but we want to play it like an iron. We're not going to try and sweep it up off the ground. If this ball is on the floor, there's already turf behind it there, so I can't come and hit it on the up. If I were to hit it on the up, I run the risk of getting the bottom of the club face here and getting towards those tops. So what I want to try and do is hit it on the down a little bit. So whenever you're playing a hybrid, the first big thing I want you to do to take away to make sure you're ripping it is you're going to try and get a divot. It's not going to be a big one like when you hit a 7 iron or a pitching wedge. It will literally be like you're just trimming the top of the grass. So you might not even see a divot come up, but you're going to feel the sole of the golf club actually interact with the ground a little bit more. So what we need to do that is make sure that we're actually getting the correct ball position. I don't want you to play it like you would do an iron where it's more towards the centre or just in front of centre. I don't want you to play it like you would do a driver where it's right in line with your lead foot and your lead heel. What I actually want you to do as you take your setup is make sure that it's placed about 1 inch to 2 inches behind that lead heel there. So it's a couple of inches in front of the centre of my stance, but it's also a couple of inches behind that lead heel. And then the big thing, like I say, when I'm trying to actually hit this, I'm not trying to lift it up, almost letting the club pass up over the top of the golf ball here. I want to try and make sure that I would hit the ball and then get the ground after it. So the big thing that I need to make sure that I'm doing is getting my weight forwards. If you are someone who's trying to help it up, you're going to be hanging back with your upper body behind the ball, which results in that club going over the top of it or hitting the ground early. We need to make sure, if we think of the center of our body, as I hit, I want to see that that's moving in front of my golf ball and allowing me to turn and actually getting that pose that we see so many on the TV where they actually have crushed it and ripped it. They don't look like they're falling off balance. They look really strong and sturdy while they're lent in their lead side. So let's give that a go. We're going to go good setup here. So that ball's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches behind my lead side. And my main feeling for this now is to get that weight transferred forwards and get that little grazing on the turf as I go through it. Good setup. And absolutely ripped that one. Nice strike. You could hear from the sound of that strike as well, it was ball, then the mat as I hit it. If I was on the golf course, I probably would have taken a little bit of that divot. So if you're looking to hit your hybrid and actually get a better strike from it, let's make sure we're doing that. Let's make sure we're getting it in the right spot, and let's make sure we're trying to take that divot. And even if you were to play it off a T-peg, this one is a little bit too high for me at the moment, so I would actually try and sweep that off. But if I were playing it off a T-peg where it was only pegged up very much just like an iron, I would too try and still take a little bit of a divot. Again, it's not going to be the biggest divot in the world, but as I'm trying to hit one, even if I just take one off this tee now, I would still endeavour just to knock a little bit of the tee each time I did this. So there, I just felt the tee being clipped ever so slightly, a little bit of rubber on the bottom there of the face, and I've got that away, I've ripped it. So, 2 key points we have to make sure we are doing to make sure that we are ripping our hybrid woods. We need to get the ball in the right spot. We're not playing it in an iron spot, but we are trying to feel that we're hitting it like an iron. We're going to take that divot. So go through that lesson again there, guys. Check those points off and make sure you are starting to rip your hybrids. Guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the lesson this week. If you have, do hit that thumbs up button for me. Also, smash that subscribe button. I want you to get better at golf, and you're going to do that by joining me for your free lessons every week here on the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.